Hi, I'm Jacqui Childs, and this is my friend Nadia, and we're about to get highly intimate. Welcome.
Hi, cheers.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really, really excited. The Ganja Mama.
Here I am.
Here you are. So tell us who the Ganja Mama is.
So the Ganja Mama encompasses everything culinary related.
Culinary.
Yeah. Anything infused, anything elegant, and just being really accessible when it comes to food.
Are you a cook? Are you a chef? What's your...
I'm a self-taught home cook, but I've been cooking for, a really long time. I grew up in a Pakistani Italian household.
I do like it when you say that, Pakistani.
I know, everyone always finds it funny. They're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Oh, and Italian.
Yeah,
okay.
French Italian. My mom's side's French Italian, my dad's side's Pakistani, and so I always grew up around food. It was something that was comforting, always available, and I grew up with women, cooking around the stove and, sitting on a little stool.
So it's family tradition, it's family, it's home, it's comfort.
It's comfort. That's exactly what it is. It's something that I know, in times of need or have anything, like you give somebody something to eat.
Right. Well, for when it's happy or sad, right? Like when family comes together, food is what we use to celebrate or to make us feel good or
just
feel better.
Express our love, or it's nourishing. It's something that regardless of what's going on, everybody, they need food. They have to eat.
I gotta eat.
Like eventually you're gonna have to eat. May as well be something good.
Yeah. So are you a cannabis patient? Are you
I am. I have been since 2016.
Can you share why? Can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah, so I've had PCOS since I was 11 or 12 years old.
And PCOS?
Yes, PCOS, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Many women are impacted by it. It's not uncommon to have cysts, growing on your ovaries, really painful periods, super painful. And it's something that's hereditary. My mom had to get a full hysterectomy at a really young age.
Right.
And so right away at 11, they put me on birth control, which felt so wrong, but it was the only thing to, assist in the management of it.
Right.
And over the years, I've tried to go to different doctors to kind of get a different diagnosis or get someone to look in it deeply. And the answer is still the same, that is their answer to that. And while it can help, I don't necessarily think it's sustainable, right? Long-term, birth control use if you want to have kids.
Yeah.
It's another type of medication.
And blood clots and all kinds of things, right?
So painful.
Issues
yeah, it's real. It's really uncomfortable. And so I found that cannabis was my only way to manage it, because I'll be in so much pain, it will make me puke, literally.
Oh.
And so using topicals, using cannabis to manage the pain, I was when I was younger, if I had a Percocet, that might help. But again, those things are highly addictive.
Right.
They're not sustainable. And for some people it might be okay. For me, I've seen in my life that that's not something that I want to take. I've seen the impact of the opiate crisis everywhere. It's something that I don't believe in. And so cannabis has really been my way to manage it. I've been smoking for a really long time.
A really, really long time.
Yeah.
Can you share how long? You're
12 or 13.
Oh, wow.
And everyone was
what did family think about it? What did family? They don't know. You hid it forever, or?
I hid it for a long time. The first time, I got caught with weed pretty early on.
Because we're so smart at hiding it.
Because I'm so smart, yes, hiding it in a tampon box. With one of your family members knowing and then telling your mom. I felt so bad because I took it from one of my relatives and I didn't want to tell on them, and I kept making the most ludicrous things up, and then I had to tell on the person, and I felt so bad, but I just felt from a really young age, it was just something that I was so drawn to. I can't even explain it. The first time I smelt it, I didn't know what it was, but I was highly intrigued.
Where was the first time you smelt it?
I found it in a relative's room in a bag.
Oh, and so I remember you found it in a relative's room in a bag. Were you nosing around?
No, you know what? I went in the room to go get something, and I like looked over, and like a little bit before that, I had seen like a High Times magazine.
Right. Okay.
But I didn't quite know. Like the cover of it said like "sexing your plants," and I was like, I shouldn't touch that. Like that's probably really bad.
Right.
And then I saw it and I smelt it, and I remember like from the first time that I smelt it, it was just something that I became like
intrigued by.
Upset, like I really wanted it.
I
really want, and I can't explain it. And I thought it would be something that like I would outgrow over the years.
Right.
But it's literally been the most consistent thing. Like I'm not that old. I'm 29.
Okay. Wow, you're just a baby.
But in hindsight, when you look at sort of that duration of like consuming cannabis, like that's a long time.
Yeah. For sure.
And
And your earliest thoughts, and you're growing up, and when you're going through, puberty and everything, you think of cannabis. You were thinking about
I loved it, I didn't have boyfriends. I didn't do any of that kind of shit. My dad would like never tolerate that. Mm-hmm. He's
Did he
strict.
tolerate the weed?
I don't think he tolerated the weed, but like there were a couple of incidents where, I thought he was real cool. Like one day I came home and I was trying to get the key in the door. We had like big French doors at the time. I was trying to get the key in the door and it was the wrong one. And then he came to the door and he like opened it. And then he like put the key in the door and showed me which one it was. And then he like went to the kitchen. I went and got changed, came downstairs, and he had like South Park turned on with a plate of food heated up. And he gave me a kiss on the forehead and he said goodnight. And I was like, he didn't say it. He's a very traditional person. But I feel like there was like kind of encounters like that, where he understood, but he didn't say anything, and obviously it was not something that was like widely accepted. It was not tolerated. When they first found me with like weed, they were like, "You're going to rehab. You're getting drug tested every single month, and give us every phone number of every friend that you've ever smoked weed with, and we're gonna call those parents." And I remember they called one of the parents, and like. They're like Caucasian family, you know, like, just and they're like, "Are you aware that your child was smoking weed?" And they're like, "Well, they're gonna be kids." And I was like, "Oh God, that must have made them even more angry."
Oh yeah,
because they're trying to drive a point home, and they're very traditional. But fast forward now to right in this present moment, it took a long time, but like I think that they've come to accept that this is something that I love. I think that they understand that the Ganja Mama is like about helping people.
Right.
And
it's all part of your healing journey.
It's a part of my healing journey. And, I was going to go to law school. Like I have a background in human rights and women and gender studies. I have a double degree. And
good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy International Women's Day.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? I thought that was powerful, that like, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but like that was real special to me.
Oh, I love
you. That really touched me. It's something that's near and dear to my heart, and I thought I was going to go to law school. Like, I thought for sure. And then I ended up getting into sales, and, like, I'm a sales director still. And it was just something that I couldn't ignore. And, like, I love cooking, but I love, like, infused type cooking more.
Right.
And
so no chance of being a lawyer, no chance of...
No, it took a long time, man. I felt real bad. My dad was like...
Oh no.
Like this needs to get done. And I think after a number of years of him like seeing that, okay, like this isn't gonna happen. And
right.
But I also had to like, I think once I moved out and I took responsibility for my life, when I could show them that I was independent.
Right, you can do this.
I can do this, and they saw me sort of progressing and seeing that I have a passion. It's something that I'm focusing on. I'm trying to help people. I don't want the stigma of cannabis to remain that like stoners are stupid,
right?
Or they're like a bunch of burnouts.
You're definitely not stupid.
No, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I want someone to come and have a coherent conversation with me and understand that like this plant will change the world. And the more people that people can see like you, people can see like me, and we start to normalize it and stop treating people like shit for choosing. I hope I'm allowed to swear.
Of course you're
I
allowed
have
to swear.
real bad trucker mouth. I can't help it. Can't help it. They're like, "That's a nice looking girl," and they're like, "Oh my God, she says fuck every 5 seconds."
You're allowed. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Swear your head off.
But my parents have become very supportive of me. And I think also being honest with them. I don't want to lie about what I'm doing. I want to be open. I think in like my professional career, I'm slowly starting to become like more open about it. Mm-hmm. Not everyone's accepting, but like in my I work with like luxury spas.
Okay.
And the industry trends right now is like we are talking about things like incorporating cannabis
CBD
into wellness.
And
CBD is really big, hemp. you know, it's amazing to see even that industry, and there's so much adoption from the spa industry. And now for me, I'm kind of seeing this intersection of like food, cannabis, wellness, and how it all ties together. And I genuinely believe that like every single experience that I've had leading up to this point has prepared me to be able to come and share my experiences with people.
You've known this since you were 12.
You know, I just knew it. I was like, even like in school, you know, like I went to the university with the intent of going to law school, but I got like a 98 in food and nutrition. And like I'd kill it in like media and stuff. And so what I've learned is like you should really tap into those things. If you see somebody excelling in something, I know that, you know, when I have children, if I see them really excelling with something, I want to sort of big them up.
Right, but celebrate that.
My parents weren't really in a position to do so because, especially in like Desi communities, right? Like this kind of stuff's unheard of.
Right.
This is the shit that aunties talk about.
Oh no.
You know, I can even imagine only in like my extended family, you know, what people say.
What are they
or
saying?
if somebody brings it up to them, you know, even in my immediate family, you know, some of them don't agree with it, they don't like it. But even just my parents.
If you show up to a Thanksgiving, like a dinner thing or whatever, do they ask, is this infused? Or no?
No.
Does anyone like...
They don't. There's like select family members that I would share my infused goods with. There's other people who I wouldn't. But like anything, I think it takes time. I think it takes like open conversations for us to get to a point where we can normalize it. I'm not into like pushing my views onto anyone. If someone just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's not my job to convince you otherwise. That's none of my business, actually, whatever you choose to do.
We can share conversation about it, and I'm not going to force you either way.
No.
That's like on social media, I'm constantly saying, like, I can still like you if we don't agree on the whole, I mean, I think you're cool and fun and funny. Like, why do we have to block and delete everyone that, you know?
That's one of the things that actually stood out to me about you, is that you have this, like, overall fairness. There's people in the cannabis industry, there's drama, and like I've even been approached by people where it's like, oh, like you've done stuff with this person, like I can't really like work with you. And I found that to be like so lovely that you literally do not judge people. Like you really do. Like your brand to me is like very open-minded. It's very conscious.
Human.
And it's human. It's about uplifting other people. And for me, like I like to speak life into those around me. I want the people in my life to know how important they are and how much potential they have. Like, I'm not here to compete with you.
Right.
Like we were saying earlier,
yeah.
What's meant for you is for you, and what's meant for me. And there's nothing that anyone can do to, like, sort of derail that.
Right.
You know?
And which there's so much competition. And
over what, though?
And women against women. Like, I mean, on International Women's Day, there's the march and the parade and the whatever. I'm like, they're all holding hands. But is it really, like... That's why I was posting a lot on Twitter today. I was like, let's be more than just a hashtag. Let's be more than just, you know, whatever the movement is. Let's actually move. Like, let's do things. Like,
let's just have our actions match our words.
Exactly. Like, so that's why there's certain women in the industry that pretty big followings. They're CEOs of companies, or they're pretty powerful women that people follow. And I'm like, that's great that it's International Women's Day, but you're only supporting and raising women you like. How about all women of all races and religions and all national and what other people believe, just because they don't believe in what you believe in, right? Why can't we? And that doesn't mean I need to be your best friend. That her and I, the person I'm speaking of, we don't need to be great friends, but I want her to do well and succeed and have a happy life. I don't wish any ill.
No, and I think people can show some respect.
That's another thing.
Or even just have, like, if something, let's say, happens online, having the willingness to have a conversation and not just try to shut somebody up because you might have misunderstood something or you might have taken something in a certain way. Instead of projecting your own internalized bullshit on me, why don't we talk about it so that we can move ahead?
Yes!
People who bring, like, if I say something that upsets you, it's okay. I posted it. I want you to come and say, listen, I don't agree with this because X, Y, Z, and let's have a conversation.
And not block, delete.
And don't block and delete. But if you're going to sit here and basically be if you're just going to try to, like, push only your side.
Your agenda.
What's the point of even reaching out and making a comment? Like, be constructive and have a conversation about it and try to understand, because I find with social media, too, things can get really misinterpreted.
Totally. There's the tone. How do you know what tone that was? Or how do you, right?
Precisely.
Like, for real. Like,
you can't know somebody's tone unless you know them. You also don't know what
and you're
mood
coming
they
from
were
your
in.
perception,
Yeah,
right? Your
yeah.
perception of this is, oh, what a bitch.
I want to see everyone thrive. I want to see everyone do well, because there's so many like male dominated industries, even in cannabis today. And they're still the ones in control. And then you have like women fighting each other, but it's like, we could be so much stronger.
Not fighting each other.
Collectively,
right?
You know?
That's I posted today about, they said, there was an article that everyone's sharing that was from Growth Op and saying that they're not hiring us and we're not welcome at their business and we're just not getting this. And I said, well, then build your own brand or business. And or the quote I say all the time, build your own damn table and invite them to yours. Become your own boss and CEO. And that, like, let's create our own, well, instead of worrying about what they're doing all the time, how about we worry about what we're doing?
And
right? Like,
that was my sort of initially, like, when was it? When I got off of MasterChef.
Oh, wait. Well, let's go in there.
Okay.
So, we'll go in there, or do you want to finish this thought?
No, we can finish this and then talk about that. But I just think that there's enough space for us to all thrive and help each other grow.
I know a lot of chefs, and I know a lot of master chefs, and I know a lot that have been on whatever, and I'm the first, and I'm the best, and I'm the only one. That's not, please, because way before all of us, before social media, before any of us were even heard of, or before our parents were heard of, people were doing this. Like, we didn't invent anything.
No, and no one owns any recipes. Like,
right.
Everyone eats.
Yeah,
I think.
We have,
some people don't.
Some people need to.
They need to. But regardless, like, everyone needs to eat, And that's why I'm saying, like, to me, I think it's amazing that there's other MasterChef alumni out there, killing it. Like Danny. I haven't met him in person, but as a MasterChef alumni, he's killing it.
He's a phenomenal cook.
I can tell. And he's a compassionate soul, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he loves what he's doing. Like, he loves what he's doing. He loves everything he makes. And when he feeds you, all his whatever sort of stands still. He's like giving, like, that's when he's calmest and happiest and quiet, like when he's feeding you.
And he's crushing it, Travis too.
Oh yeah,
he
Travis,
competed on Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
He competed on MasterChef as well. He's doing his thing,
and
running
do you know
around
Cody,
Canada.
the wellness soldier, the one that fed Wiz Khalifa?
Yes, I did, and I love that episode. It was on a Netflix show.
Bon Appetit.
Yeah. Was it Bon Appetit?
Yes. No, it's their competition one.
It was the competition one. Oh, I forget the name.
It's
going to bug me all afternoon.
We'll add it to our
Okay, yeah, exactly. But that I did, and he crushed it. And so to me, it's like amazing. But the way that I see myself in sort of being different than these other people is like, Travis is out there sort of doing these infused dining things. Danny has all these, exciting companies and, what his endeavors are. To me, I want to bring it back to the home cook, I want to show them that, you can be like a CEO earning over, 7 figures. You can have an infused party and it can still be like super elegant, super classy, and it can still be medicine.
Do you know Chef Jordan Wagman? Chef Jordan? We just had him on.
Oh my God, I feel like we connected on Facebook.
He's wonderful.
Does he have Tokyo hot fried chicken or something?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he might have a fried chicken spot. He told me he does infused meals.
He does fancy infused meals, and he's sugar-free, gluten-free.
You know what? Maybe I'm
convincing. Are you thinking of that Matt? I think you're thinking. Anyhow, we could go down this road forever because I love food. So,
my long-term memory's okay. The short-term.
You're so funny. So tell us about MasterChef. Just how'd you end up there, and what was that? What was that like?
Okay, well, how I ended up there was my fiance Nav had been hearing adverts on the radio.
Okay.
And we would watch it together, and he would always make jokes like, "Oh my God, I could totally see you doing that." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
Okay.
Definitely not. And he's like, "No, really." And then the last day, he comes up to me, and I was about to get on a meeting with one of my clients in China, and he's like, "Are you gonna..."
A client in China?
Yeah, so the software that I sell, where I work as a sales director, I have a global clientele. So my meetings are kind of all over the place.
Okay.
So I'm up at 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
I'm up at midnight on calls because it's just a global clientele. It's international, right? And it's in luxury hotels and spas and stuff. And so my call had happened to cancel. And I was like, okay, open up the application. He's like, today's the last day. I'm like, I'll do it. I didn't put any videos. I think I took a picture maybe off of LinkedIn and just threw it on there. And I filled out this application quick. And then the next day I like came out of a meeting and I had like a bunch of missed calls and I'm like, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so I called and they're like, you want to come down for, an audition? So I went. They called me a week later and they're like, can you come and film this? And so the rest was history. I couldn't believe it. There's people who try out every year.
Right.
In hopes of doing this. And I did it like kind of on a whim.
Last minute, not putting a bunch of effort into it.
Not studying, not preparing.
Just like, okay, and as per usual,
just do it.
Smarty pants.
I'm just gonna go in there, cook some stuff. But, it ended up working out really well. And as soon as I got off the show, I opened a catering company and that was amazing. But like, they don't really rock with cannabis.
Right.
And so when I started talking about wanting to make like, edibles and infused confections, they were like,
oh, really?
We're not going to talk about
because
that.
They're sponsors and stuff, right? It's just off brand for them. It's just.
I think it's off brand, but I appreciate what they did for me, and it showed me like I really do love cooking, but it really just made me love infused cooking more. It just makes me feel good. I know it makes other people feel good. There's nothing better than when someone's like, I ate this and I had the best sleep last night, or I usually wake up a dozen times a night, and last night I didn't wake up once. A good night's sleep, something that we all probably take for granted. But somebody in pain, that's a luxury to them.
Yes, for sure. You
know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want them to think that, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, there's these different spectrums of chefs. You have people, having $200, infused dinners. Mm-hmm. You have the legal space where, 10 milligrams.
And a whole lot of packaging.
Serving and a lot of packaging and miniature joints.
Yeah, miniature joints.
I had a very...
You could smoke my joint.
Oh, we could spark it.
Blueberry... Guys, I'm just worried if my guest is concerned about coronavirus.
I am, but like, there's no cases here, right?
No, I'm joking. Like within Wiki? No.
No, not in here. I meant in the city, but no,
not
it's
yet.
Fine. Go for it.
So all different types of chefs. There's infused.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many different types of chefs, but for me, being able to show somebody online, like if you go to my, my Instagram, you'll be like, this looks nice. Like, what is it? Who's this girl? She's in like full glam. Like, what's she doing? Mm-hmm. You don't really.
It's Blue Kush, and I grew it myself. You're fancy. You're very fancy.
Smells nice.
And like, I've gone through and I liked a bunch and I've done a little bit of research, and you're very.
Thank you.
It's glamorous. It's high end.
I feel like that's like the woman that I was always meant to be.
You're very fancy in the kitchen. I'm like,
Thank
who
you.
is this? Like,
yeah,
dripping.
But when I'm not like that, I always wear matching outfits. That's like pretty on brand for me, like a matching tracksuit, Sometimes I'll like roll up into the office and make like a bunch of sales, and they're probably so confused. They're like, who is this girl coming to work in velour tracksuits?
Who
does she think she is?
I would come here in a velour tracksuit if they'd let me.
I was going to wear one, and then I thought, no.
Oh, you can wear whatever you want.
No, I know. Next time.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back and have you cook.
I love it here. Yeah, I would love it.
We have a kitchen, the whole kitchen studio and stuff. It's fun. It's really fun.
I saw some videos.
How are your parents now? Like, you're obviously accomplished and accomplishing, and you're obviously, you're a productive member of society. You've done a lot of really cool
I wake
things.
up early, like an adult.
Like an adult. I pay my own damn bills.
Like, yeah, exactly. I pay my own bills now, But they're fine. I'm very grateful that, because I thought for the longest time that they just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand. And, my mom swore she would never get Facebook.
Fine.
My mom shares my stuff on Facebook now. Like, to me, that's like a accomplishment, or that's okay. I have my pen too. When my father, when I talk to him about stuff, I don't really care about anyone else's opinion. I do care about what my parents say. Like, I know people should say, like, not even immediate family, just my mom and my dad and their partners. My parents are divorced. My whole family gets along like real well. Like, my mom's parents are divorced. We all still do.
Good for you.
Like Christmas dinners and stuff together.
They're respectful and kind to each other.
My stepmom and my mom are like two peas in a pod. They get along swimmingly.
Wow.
And so to me, the fact that like my mom's husband as well, Rob, he's like always been supportive of me even before everyone. Same with my dad's wife, Erin. They didn't birth me, but they've been in my life for a long time and they've always been supportive. My mom and my dad took a little bit more time, but like they really, like, I think they kind of like get it now, and they see that it's something that I love and that I'm actually making an effort towards working towards. Like, I could have very easily tried to just jump in stuff and, you know, tried to like schmooze people. Like I work in sales.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I talk to people all day for a living, you know,
Right.
outside of the Ganja Mama. But like, to me, having the ability to build a brand that I'm proud of, that I can go to my parents and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And they can tell.
Right.
I have people approach me all the time and be like, this looks very nice. Like, this is very classy.
It's
It's
classy.
very elegant. And that's the type of woman that I like to think I am, you know, and that's what I aspire to be. And so the fact that they're supportive of what I'm doing now, to me, that is like the best thing. Because now I know, regardless of what happens in work, outside families, like anything, the fact that I have their support, and Navdeep, my fiance, of course, is like the most supportive, encouraging, loving, patient person I've like ever met in my whole life. Like, even just having his support initially meant the world. And then, you know, my parents starting to accept what I'm doing.
Right.
To me,
you can tell you're surrounded by a lot of love. Like, you're very
Yeah.
grounded. You're very happy, and the vibes that come off you are just like really special. Like,
I'm lucky, thank you. Like,
can
my parents
really
are loving.
tell.
They're the most loving people, and so that's why I'm saying, like, it took some time. It wasn't always like, you know, my mom would be like, what do you like?
So cannabis isn't always street kids or the bad leftovers.
No.
You know, it's not the gateway drug. You know,
No.
look what cannabis can be celebrated and appreciated and enjoyed. And like, is cannabis legal in Pakistan?
No, but that shit grows like on the side of the streets. But like, they have an opiate problem there.
But they don't use cannabis.
I don't think so. They like hash. I think they just like prepare things there and then.
Oh,
You
but
know,
it grows on the
ship it.
sides of the streets.
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story.
Yes, you can tell me a story. Then we're gonna take a break.
I remember when I went to Pakistan when I was a kid. I didn't really like it. But
Russell Peters said
My-
he didn't like it either.
I remember my uncles told somebody to pull over so they could like see what was on the side of the road, and it was literally like a plant growing on the side of the highway,
Wow.
and they needed to like take a picture of it. We didn't have digital cameras back then.
Okay.
It was like one of those Kodak,
Right.
disposable ones.
Yeah.
And so, okay, another funny thing. One time my grandmother found something growing. I don't know where she was. I don't know if it was near a field, whatever. It was like a purple plant. Oh, I don't know how high was this.
Uh-huh.
And then
plant.
a purple plant. And somebody like came into the house and they were like, where did you get that? And she's like, my purple plant. And they were like, no. That's like, it's weed, it's marijuana, it's drugs. And she's like, no, it's my purple plant. And she had like grown it. And there's literally a picture of her in like shalwar kameez, like traditional clothing, next to like this plant.
And it's, oh my
But she didn't know. She's so innocent. She didn't know.
So innocent.
But you know what I mean?
Wow.
I feel like in my heart, in like my ancestry, like in my DNA,
Cannabis is
there's
there.
something there. Like there has to be. You know what I mean? And it that kind of stuff grows there pretty freely, right? You can get like, there's like hash there.
Right, I know there's
the
hash.
poppies,
yeah,
you know, all
the
that kind of
poppies.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they have an opioid crisis.
They have an opiate problem there for sure. It's pretty sad.
So, 10 years from now, where will Ganja Mama be? Where do you hope she is?
I think the Ganja Mama, what I aspire, I want to see the Ganja Mama as like an outlet of knowledge for people to come to, whether that be just like a conversation where maybe you can take something from this that's inspiring, or, you know, gives you an idea and say, I'm going to act on that, or
Right.
just someone believing in themselves, you know? Online education.
Oh, okay.
I think that when we sort of like look at like the digital landscape right now, it's amazing to have like in-person cooking sessions and demos and all this great stuff.
Right.
But let's talk again. Let's bring it back to accessibility. Not everybody can make it out.
Oh, like we were saying about the dinners. You're saying that big
Right?
high-end. Yeah, accessibility.
You know, maybe where you do your classes, they're not wheelchair accessible, or maybe they're, you know, it's not, you know, someone with, you know, a physical, you know, issue or whatever.
Also, anxiety. I didn't
Social
leave the house
anxiety.
for 4 months.
Do you know what I mean? Somebody who's really depressed, and even just being able to say, you know what, I'm going to try doing this online. To me, if I can, I think that's how I'm going to be able to reach more people, because even with my followers, it's so funny because like they're all over the world. It's so strange. Like I got a bunch of people in Costa Rica who
cool.
send me love. You know, I got girls in like Brooklyn, New York, and
I could see you in Brooklyn, New York.
you know, yeah.
You're badass.
Whenever I feel, I know. I went to New York and I'm going to move here. And I'm like, I'm actually not going to, but
I don't like.
I'm like, the vibe's aggressive.
Yeah, the vibe is aggressive.
Some people say I'm aggressive. I don't think I'm aggressive, but like some people say that.
No, I think you're really passionate.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
what it
really
is.
passionate,
And it gets
and that's
confused.
not a
I think,
bad thing.
yeah. I think just people confuse it.
I
but
like
New
it.
York has like a real aggressive vibe.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
throw yourself in there.
It does have
Let's
an
do
aggressive
this.
vibe. And it never sleeps.
Man,
And that-
no, but it also smells weird.
It also smells weird.
You're smelling shit on Fifth Avenue outside the Gucci store. You're like, what the?
Have you been to New Orleans? Woo.
I've always wanted to go there, eat some beignets.
Oh,
Is that how
yeah,
you say
beignets.
it? Beignets.
Beignet and beignets.
Some fried dough with some icing sugar.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah,
Give
throw
me
some
fried-
beads. Yeah.
It smells like shit there, but I love it.
I had to stop in their airport once. That was
Yeah?
it. That's to my extent.
That's your
I don't like their
extent.
airport, but I heard the people are better outside.
So on a personal level, where would you be in 10 years? Married, kids, still doing this?
Yeah. Like, eventually I'd like to get to the point where, like, this is just all that I do.
Right?
Navdeep and I in 10 years, you know, probably have, like, 3 kids. He really wants to have so many children, you know, which
You
is, like,
know.
amazing. I come from a big family, so, like, I get it, you know.
Brothers and sisters? And
Yeah. I have, like, 7 I have, like, there's 5 of us.
And then like...
And then we have like 6 step siblings.
Wow.
5 or 6 other step siblings.
So 11 total.
Some grandkids in there too.
Some grandkids in there too. That's a lot.
It's like a lot, you know, and so I grew up with a big family, and so I think that we would probably do the same. Yeah, I think family for sure.
And cannabis is still going to be part of it.
Yeah, like,
It's-
I want my kids to, like, grow up in a place of, like, not feeling afraid to come to us if they want to do something that's maybe not considered the correct
norm?
path or
The
the
social
norm
norm?
to take.
Right?
You know, like, I just feel like, to me, that's important. And coming from, like, you know, on one side, I'm, like, first generation Canadian.
Right.
On my mom's side, I'm second generation. And when you look at these different generations of people who, like, immigrate to Canada, there's different cultural things and different values and stuff that you bring here, and you do your best to maintain it.
Right.
And while maintaining culture is, like, amazing, you're also in a new place, and so you need to adapt. And so I think for people, and I'm sure a lot of people could agree, if they're
Right.
first or second generation, it's a weird cross-cultural thing to navigate. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like,
did your dad immigrate here? Was your father?
yeah, I came when he was, like, really little.
Okay.
Like, he was pretty
Out of
young.
necessity? Like, how did
I
they
don't
come
actually,
here? You don't
what,
actually know?
I never even asked them.
How?
But I would imagine, you know, yeah, I should have. I would imagine it's for, like, a different type of life, maybe more opportunity. You know, there's, like, wars sometimes and
Right.
stuff like that. I mean, I think people, you know, like the American dream, the Canadian dream, well, I'd say mostly the Canadian dream, but
America has Trump. There's no dreaming going you know? That's nuts.
awkward.
So it's so nuts. This is the Canadian dream.
You know, this is the Canadian dream. So I feel like that's really tough to navigate. And so when I have kids, I want them to know that, like, they can do anything and be anything. You know, if you want to do something, like, be the best at it and be the best version of yourself.
And to give them the
at it.
support that you've had. And
Yeah.
the encouragement and
You
the
know,
love
it took some,
Right.
you know, some pulling and some you know,
passion.
some passion for them to be like, okay, like, this is what we're, like, what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, like, my dad's always been very supportive of me. He used to bring me to, like, his business meetings, like, as a small baby. I remember one time, I think I was, like, sitting on the floor and he was in, like, a boardroom, like, having a meeting with somebody, and, like, he would take me all over to go buy supplies for his businesses. Like, he gave me my first lessons in business. Like, I remember being, like, I must have been 7 or 8, and he was like, you're gonna go to the store, go grab, like, this, it was like a cookie mix, and he brought it back, and he's like, this is gonna be your first, like, lesson in business. You paid X amount for this, we've spent this, and now we're gonna sell each cookie for $1. How much profit are we making?
Oh, wow.
And these are the types of things that he instilled in me. Like, I was always an overachiever. You
Clearly.
know, I was, like, prime minister of my high school, out there,
my
like,
God.
campaigning.
I'm campaigning.
You know,
You're so cute. I'm
Smoked
prime
a joint
minister.
before I did my prime minister speech. My best friend was like, you gotta smoke to calm your nerves, Nods.
Nods. You gotta smoke to calm your nerves.
Like, yeah,
So
exactly.
You're probably not the first prime minister to smoke.
You know, I'm probably not, you know, my high school in Oshawa. What up,
wow.
McLaughlin? No, I'm joking.
You're so funny. That will be our soundbite. What up, McLaughlin?
Told you bitches I'd be famous. No, I'm joking.
You're not. Don't finish it with no. You're joking. You're awesome.
Not yet.
Oh, what?
I'm going there, you know,
Yes.
growing into that woman. But you know, that's just what I want to
see
give
it.
my kids. I want them to just know that, like, anything that they want to do, they can do. Like, people, when you have like older family members who are kind of comfortable with the way that they've always done things, you know, get a job,
Just
get a
in the
good
norm.
pension,
Yeah.
you know? To me, I'm like, I literally
Security.
don't care about, no. Like, I'll contribute to that sort of stuff, obviously, like
Right, you
invest
need
your
security,
coins.
you need it, you're right.
But you have one life and you're gonna die regardless. So I think you should like really just try to kind of do something that makes you happy, because then at least you'll be fulfilled. Like, I think you're a fan of Gary Vee as well.
Yes, for sure.
You know, like I appreciate him because he talks about it. Like you can make 150K and be miserable.
And be totally miserable.
But you might be making 70K for yourself and you might be like the happiest mofo alive.
Yeah, and I think what you're doing and how you feel about what you're doing and you're just the whole glitter that's coming off you, all the glitter you're shooting at me, I think you're gonna do some pretty amazing things. Like I think you'll look back even at this and go, remember how excited or nervous or whatever you were, and go, can you believe, like, look where I am today? Like
I know.
And you know.
We don't do, that's actually a good point you bring up. We should talk about that. I think we don't talk about, we always like look and we're just like, I think we get like bored. We're like, this is so mundane.
Right.
This is like the routine.
I gotta get here, I gotta get there, I gotta
But then when you kind of like look back, not a year, you look 2, 3, 10 years ago.
Wait till you're older. You'll look back a
That's
year.
what I mean. Even now, and like I'm a very like
I'm
a very like introspective person. I'm highly intuitive. I can like look at people at work and they don't keep a word and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Really?
Oh yeah, I do it to my boss all the time.
I like the witchy thing. I like that. You know, the very.
It's like so strange because like I just like sense it. Like even if like, it's a message or I'll reach out to my friends and I'll like ask them a question and they're like, what do you like? How did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. Like I kind of like felt it. And that's
spiritual.
Like,
are you religious or are you spiritual?
No, I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'm just, you know, like be a good person. Don't hurt people.
Be a good person.
Mind your own business.
Yes, I posted that yesterday. I think on one of my stories. Just mind your own, drink your water and mind your own business.
You know what I mean? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Go worry about what you're doing.
Yeah, and exactly.
Or go do something.
Like, do something. It seems so easy to say, like when we're having a conversation and going back and forth about it. Seems like such an easy thing.
I think it's a confidence thing. I'm very fortunate. Like, my dad made me the most confident person in the world.
Good,
like I don't give a shit. I will, even my mom, she's like, I don't think you should wear that. I'm like, I'm gonna wear it.
Did they know you were coming here today?
Oh yeah, I called my dad and I was like, I told him and I told my mom and like, they were like, oh my God, like, good luck. You're gonna do, and to me, like, that's important. Like, anyone else can say anything.
Right.
But like, I got
Jacqui
Nav,
Childs.
my parents, they're like, that's good. Cause at least I'm making strides towards something. I'd be happy if I could, as a parent, be like, you know, my kids are happy, they're thriving, they're doing what they love and, you know, they make some coins
What
doing
does Nav
it.
do?
Nav also works in technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
in the auto industry.
All right.
Yeah, he's good.
And he's happy with cannabis and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah,
he might love it more than me, which is kind of hard to believe.
Well, I mean, a couple, if one of them is so into something and so involved and so it's involved.
He is like a connoisseur of cannabis.
I like that.
And I mean that in like the most serious way. I've never met anybody who has such a obsession with the plant. I've never met anybody who scours the way he does when it comes to locating.
Is he on social media?
Yeah, he is.
I'll have to look
Toronto Dabbler.
Dabbler.
Yeah.
Do I follow him?
I don't know, but he actually, how we met was he slid into my, like, he followed me and my account was private at that time. The Ganja Mama didn't even exist. And he slid into my DMs. And, you know, we just started chatting. It's like right when Instagram videos came out.
Right.
And so I remember he like posted, he was at a lounge and he was like smoking a backwood inside said lounge. And I was like, I'm like, I know the Toronto lounges. Like, where are you smoking a blunt inside? He's like, oh, you're from the city. It's like a place called Planet. And I was like, oh, like, that's amazing. He's like, wait, are you from the city? I'm like, yeah, I live in Toronto. At the time I lived in the beaches.
Oh.
And then he's like, oh my, and then I said, yeah, like we should hang out. And then we literally went on a date 2 weeks later, and we've been together ever since.
Oh, I love that story. Did you smoke a blunt at Planet?
I
know where you mean.
He met me. We met there. No, he picked me up at my house. We went and parked at Planet. We smoked a blunt, and then we Ubered to the CNE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they've been together ever since.
Yeah, you know, like we got in an Uber, there was like open alcohol, like someone had left it, and I started like yelling. I didn't mean to yell at him, but I was like trying to explain to him why you as a driver should not have open alcohol. You're gonna get in trouble. And then he just like threw it out the door.
Oh.
And I started getting so bad, and then I like stopped, and I was like, this guy's probably gonna think I'm crazy.
I'm on a date.
Yelling. I forgot, you know,
I had smoked that blunt.
We're going to the X.
Now we're going to the X. We're gonna have fried Oreos.
Yeah, but you know what he told me? He says it now. He's like, that moment, I was like, who is this girl? Like, I've never seen anyone, especially like a woman, kind of
very,
you know, sort of like not even yell, but just like
assertive.
assert themselves
Very assertive.
and tell somebody. You know why? I think growing up, people took that as like being bossy,
right?
But I tell people all the time, when my friends are like, they try to like minimize themselves, I'm like, if that was a guy or somebody else, they'd be like, oh, he's such a great leader. His leadership skills.
His leadership
Look
skills.
at how he mansplains things. Like, you just repeated my idea. I just said that 5 minutes ago in your words, okay? Don't, you know, no, you're assertive and you should always be that, and you should like own that. I never feel bad when I have to like speak up and you know, say something.
Think you should.
And you shouldn't. And oftentimes I feel like, especially like women in professional settings, like they're scared to.
There's a lot of mousy, like they keep quiet and they keep.
Or they
whatever.
don't speak up. Or women have a seat at a certain table and they're not bringing stuff up. And it's like, your job is to uplift other people. When you get there, you put your hand out. You don't, you know, you grow your table. You don't shorten it, right? You invite more people. And
definitely,
that's how we foster that change that we were talking about in people's like perception of cannabis, right? It's like, there's no competition. We're going to uplift each other, because who knows, after this, there might be somebody else who reaches out to me and says, hey, I saw this and, you know, it inspired me to do X, Y, Z. Like, that's what I want to see. That's how we
look
grow.
at what you've done, really. Like, it's exciting to talk about it, and you're lucky that your parents and it could have went all wrong. Your parents couldn't have appreciated this. You also couldn't have gone through the education and all that stuff. Like, things could have went very different, right?
No, exactly.
Like you've done some amazing stuff, really amazing, in your short life.
I know. What's going to happen at like 30 or 35 or, you know, for you.
I think 35.
Things have changed.
Oh, for sure.
Right? In your career? Like, did you think 10, 15 years ago you'd be sitting here doing this?
2 years ago, I didn't think I'd be talking publicly about cannabis, you know, on any level. With anyone 2 years ago.
That's what I mean.
And I mean, I was married once upon a time to someone else, and there was a whole cannabis and media of any kind. I didn't have social media even.
Which is so shocking, because like, you kill the social media game. Let's just talk about that for a second. You have like 137,000 followers on Instagram and like 2 million on Facebook. Even that, I think, is like an accomplishment to build. You know, we talk about growing your social media, but really what you're doing is building a community.
I'm trying to.
And
build
you
a
use your
community.
platform for good.
Right. So when originally it was built, it was like shock and awe. I would say I say built it on tits and ass. But then when the followers were there and the
but why
audience
can't
was
you
there,
do that?
Exactly,
why can't you do that?
Because it's usually women say you can't.
No, they're just mad. See, to me, that's that's like an insecurity
now that it's built,
thing.
I've turned it so I can celebrate everyone. Yeah. Now that the audience is there, now I want to celebrate you and push you forward. And like, I love somebody badass like you that thinks it's actually really.
That to me, like, I don't think that anyone's work should be like judged. You know, whatever you need to do, because you don't know someone's life story, you don't know their circumstance, and also not everyone's in a position to be able to, I don't know, go to university, or maybe they have ill parents that they've been taking care of their whole adult life and they didn't get a chance to get, like, there's so many different things. And so again, like, people should just mind their own business. If someone's not harming somebody, they're not, you know, harming themselves, that sort of things, like, I don't care what you do.
Mind
do
your
you.
business.
Mind your own damn business.
Mind your own damn business. You're so awesome.
You know?
I really do want to have you back because I'm really excited to see where things go.
Thank you.
I'm really, and we have to have you in our kitchen.
Yeah, next time I'll come cook. Maybe we'll make some like condiments or something.
Some condiments?
Yeah.
Like ketchup and mustard?
Maybe not ketchup and mustard.
What's
like,
condiments?
Maybe we could make like, we'll make some like infused hot sauces, maybe some infused pesto.
Oh, you mean, okay.
I guess we could make, we
I
might have some ketchup. I don't want to make that. I don't even like ketchup.
I say ketchup and mustard, you go, no, like pesto and hot sauces. You're spicy enough. Oh. Thank you for joining us on Highly Intimate.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Thanks for coming. This is my friend Nadia, and this is Highly Intimate. Bye.
Bye.